Alright my friends, welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew and today we're going to talk about and review the 9070 XT, the AORUS Elite that that AMD sent out to me. So I've had this for 5 days now. I got this on Monday and I've been playing around with it throughout the week. I've been trying a bunch of different things. Went out and bought this monitor just the other day. That is a 4K monitor that also has a 1080p mode that I can switch into and crank out like 480 frames a second. So I need to talk about this AORUS, okay? I think I'm saying that right. AORUS. So I need to talk about this. This card is pretty dang freaking sweet. Like the build quality on this card looks absolutely freaking stunning. It's got some really fine detail in this card that just makes it stand out. Like it really stands out. As you can see, it's like ultra slim. It really looks really good. All the RGB on it looked pretty good. I downloaded the Gigabyte thing. You can get in there and you can kind of customize, you know, each individual fan. You can customize the color on those. You can get in there. You can customize the back plate. Actually has an RGB or AORUS setup. I thought it was an LCD screen, but it is just a light, an RGB plate. So you can change the color on that. And then on the side plate, there's also colors and stuff on there. You can change all those colors individually, whatever. So, so it is pretty cool. Definitely liking the RGB on it. I really like the design philosophy of this card too. Now, my first choice, honestly, was the Mag Air from XFX. I really love XFX. I think they make incredible products. But I gotta hand it to Gigabyte with this card. As I look at this, it's like, what is it, like a 2.5 slot or something? Very nice premium looking card. It runs incredibly well. This one here is very stable. It is actually boosting higher than the Magnetic Air. Right out of the box settings, I'm getting it was like 18793 on my Port Royal score on that one. So I was like, dang, this is pretty nice. This one's almost hitting and catching up to the 5070 Ti, literally a few hundred points behind that one. So I was like, wow, I was pretty impressed with that, just being able to boost like that. Temperatures run really cool. If I actually pull up my Adrenaline software, we can have a look at that real quick. Just get over here into performance real quick, and I can tell you guys what it's sitting at right now, just with the just sitting on idle. I've got YouTube pulled up over here, and I don't really have a lot of stuff, but we're sitting right now, total board power 37 watts, GPU temperature we're sitting at 37 watts, hotspot temp is at 40. This thing usually reaches up to like 75 or something on the hotspot. I think I might have seen it as high as 80 or whatever, but this thing runs pretty cool, right around like 56 or something most of the time. And the hotspot's usually about 15 degrees hotter than that, so about 56. So right around like, you know, 60, 70, like 76 or something. I think it gets up into that range. The overall, like I was saying, it boosts pretty good, over 3200 megahertz. Like we're pretty good. This card is awesome. Very quiet. Now I've went through and I've tested a lot of games on this. I've played a lot of games, and one thing that I have noticed that has kind of stood out to me a little bit with the 9070 on both cards is I am thinking that because I've been playing a lot more on 4K lately. I've been doing a lot more testing on 4K, and coming from the 7900 XTX, 24 gigs of VRAM, and 384-bit bus in a lot of those games that do need or have like the ray tracing effects and some of that stuff, I am noticing a little bit more inconsistency all across the board when it comes to like stuttering and stuff like that. I am noticing more of that with ray tracing effects enabled, not having a wider bus, not having more VRAM. So I am more inclined to say that like running these cards, the 9070 XT at 4K with ray tracing enabled, probably not a good choice. It definitely feels a lot better at 1440p. So I would definitely recommend that, or even if you've got the ability to jump to like 1080p, if you want that like really high ray tracing quality and stuff like that. Maybe that's something to look at. Maybe that's something that you do. Yes, you can play these games at 4K with playable frame rates. If you don't want the stuttering effect like that, you're going to need to lock down your GPU. You're going to need to lock your frame rate and stuff like that. I do notice that Radeon Chill makes that significantly better. But Radeon Chill, obviously, if you're using Radeon Chill, okay, a lot of people don't understand this. Is what Radeon Chill does is it kind of like limits your power and stuff. It does like something internally, so it'll kind of like lower the power and like kind of lower your frame rate a little bit. Like if you set it, like I've been setting it at like 60 and 60, so it really doesn't let my card like kind of calm down when it's not like active or anything, but then like ramps up. So you will notice that like that ramp up period and stuff like that if you're using Radeon Chill the way you're supposed to. Like say you would set it to 60 and then up to like 80 or 90 frames a second. You give it that in between room to like really to conserve power if it doesn't need it. I do notice that Radeon Chill does kind of make things a little bit better, but when it comes to VRAM, guys, there's just not really much you're ever going to be able to do about that. And a lot of these newer games that are coming out that are requiring ray tracing and some of these other effects, yes, you are going to want to have you're going to want to have that VRAM there to be able to like you want more than you need. You definitely want more than you need. It'll make your process a lot more stable. And when it comes to utilizing stuff like FSR4 or any of the other things like the Radeon Sharpening 2 is actually really good. Like that's really good. Like it if you're one of those people that really like that sharper, crisper image, absolutely go ahead and turn that on. It's got a slider now. You can slide from like 0 to 100. You turn that on, you can enable that right into in HyperRX. You go into the gaming section on the Adrenaline software, you get in there, you flip on HyperRX, you can get in there and you can play with those. You're going to need that if you're trying to utilize FSR4, but you get in there and you can like turn on some of these other effects at the same time and be able to use all of these at the same time. And if you just let Radeon choose, for the most part, it is pretty good, but it is going to enable Fluid Motion Frames 2.1 a lot. I do recommend getting there and setting your settings for Fluid Motion Frames. Set it to what is it, like high and quality or something like that, so that it's actually like working really good. If you've got a dedicated discrete GPU like a 9070 XT, you're going to fully be able to utilize that. I'm finding it really good when I'm on the 1080p mode in using Fluid Motion Frames to like really boost those frame rates, because as you know, if you're running at 1080p, you're going to start bottlenecking just because your GPU doesn't have if you don't have a fast enough CPU or whatever. But turning on Fluid Motion Frames literally doubles your frame rate, so therefore it really helps a lot to get rid of a lot of those bottlenecks, and it's running a lot better than it ever was before, especially if you're on a controller. Very, very nice. So if I had to rate the AORUS, the Gigabyte AORUS, I would say this is probably among the top end AMD Radeon 9070 XT. And a quick check over at Best Buy today was telling me that the MSRP price right now is still $749.99. I think that is more than fair for this card. I'm not like everybody else. I've been in the GPU since I've been buying GPUs since they've been in the expensive ones. So $749 to me seems reasonable. It doesn't seem like it's way too much, and it doesn't seem like it's not enough. Seems reasonable. It does seem reasonable to me for the build quality, because that's pretty much where you start getting after you get from whatever it is like the stock build, the 600 or 599 MSRP cards. Then you start looking more at the build quality, the RGB, the build quality, the case, the aesthetics of the GPU, everything else that goes into this. After that point, that's when you can start, justifying in your head, all right, is that worth it to me? Am I going to be overpaying for this product? Is this going to deliver the experience that I want? That's when you start, getting to a point. And completely honest with you, I paid $939 for a Asus Prime of 5070 Ti. So when I look at that and I juxtapose that against the 9070 XT for $749 for this card, I'm like, yeah, that's definitely fair. Like, and that's how I base my prices, guys. That's how I base my buying decisions. I don't sit and listen to all the other guys out there that are like, oh my god, the prices were just fake and blah blah blah. Yeah. Like what do you do? Like that's easy, low hanging fruit to stir up the base of people out there that just want to be angry about everything. You're never going to enjoy gaming if you're angry all the time. Period. Like, you look at the prices of these GPUs. The Magnetic Air is retailing for $849. That card right there, okay, like I said, I paid $939 for an Asus Prime. I still would have felt that price on that card, just because of how high the AIB prices are on NVIDIA, I would still feel like, okay, that's reasonable to me, because I feel that there's not a big enough gap between NVIDIA and AMD to not be able to be like, okay, that, you know what I mean? There's not a big enough gap to where it makes sense for me to be like, no, AMD, you need to pay less money. I feel like they're pretty dang equal. I feel like they both deliver. AMD has delivered a significantly better user experience for me out of the box since day one. NVIDIA has always had those more premium features that, love them or hate them, they're there, and they're there day one. Whereas with AMD, sometimes you are waiting for things. But at the end of the day, I don't feel like there's a big enough difference between the two, and I've enjoyed my AMD experience significantly more. So no, I do not feel like $749 is too much for the AORUS. I think it's a really actually fair price. To be completely honest with you, I feel like there's a fair price. I feel like this card's going to last you a long time. I feel like the AMD Adrenalin software is significantly improved, significantly better than the NVIDIA app. It adds more features. It gives you the ability to utilize things like Fluid Motion Frames 2.1. It gives you access to FSR4. You do now have machine learning, and you can still utilize this for AI tests. You can get into the Adrenalin app. You can download an on your system AI thing that's like 25 gigs, and it runs pretty well. It runs pretty quick. You can ask it questions. It's really knowledgeable with the about AMD systems and AMD stuff. So if you need that extra knowledge, if you're new to AMD and you just want to get in there and start learning how to use and enjoy the full Radeon experience, the AI chatbot is actually very helpful. I find it very refreshing to be able to ask it a question and have like ChatGPT level freaking responses fast on a 9070 XT. Like it's quick. So, yeah, to sum this up, playing games on the 9070 XT, as long as you're well within that range of your VRAM or whatever, you're getting an incredible experience. I'm playing games that I play well into the 100 frames a second, even at native 4K. Games like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, still being able to get very playable, incredible experiences. So when I look at that across the board, and this is all about the experience. That's all it's ever going to be about with me, is the experience. The games that I play. I review a lot of games. I buy a lot of games. I go from older games all the way up to the newest games out on the market. And my experience with Radeon, with the 9070 XT, has been very, very good. I'm really happy with this. Even FSR3 was okay enough for me to be like, okay, yeah, let's invest in a 4K monitor, because I can still get a 4K image quality at like 60 frames a second. So yeah, in my opinion, it's playable at 4K if you want that extra pizzazz, that crispness, that clarity that everybody wants. But you also have got significant amounts of power to play games at 1080p or 1440p with maximum settings and like really trying to get the most out of that experience. So when it comes to 9070 XT, AORUS Elite, this card's awesome. I mean, mine's probably more awesome than a lot of people's because it's signed by Lisa Su. But if you can get your hands on one of these, yeah, I absolutely would. I would recommend this card. Absolutely. Like I said, my first choice was the Magnetic Air. I love that card too. I think they're both incredible options. So those are my two picks right now. And now obviously, you got like Sapphire and Red Power Devil, but I don't really, think. I don't really think that you would really have much of an issue with any of those cards, to be completely honest with you. I think all of them are going to perform pretty similarly. So at the end of the day, I think your experience is still going to be pretty high quality. So, all right, my friends, if you like this content, do not forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.